right, well, we don't want to waste too much time waiting for other attendees to join, so we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Katie Gleboff. I'm with Realtors Property Resource, and our Unlocking RPR commercial webinar has been brought to you today by the North San Diego County Realtors. And this is actually one of two webinars that your wonderful Realtor Association is providing for you. So we have our general commercial today, and then we'll be back on August 19th to talk a little more in depth about RPR commercial and some of our next gen reports and AI tools. So thank you, North San Diego County Realtors, for inviting us here today. This will be posted by them, so it's being recorded and you guys will get a playback, but we're going to go ahead and get started with our presentation. We always start with a little bit of background information on what is RPR. So Realtors Property Resource is the nation's largest parcel-centric database for residential and commercial properties. We have over, I think, 56 million commercial properties that you guys have access to from coast to coast as far as public record data goes. So we start with the tax ID, and then we're able to pull together property information, tax information, owner information, tenant data, traffic, and all of that good stuff. And then you also have access to those active for sale and for lease commercial properties from coast to coast as well. RPR is built exclusively for real estate professionals. If you are a member of NAR, this is available to you at no additional cost. And the RPR platform does not provide consumer access. So we do not have a IDX search for property information. We don't send our property information anywhere. It's really a tool for agents to go in and utilize for their own clients. Now, on the commercial side, we are going to take a little bit of time going through a PowerPoint because with commercial, it's just clear to be aware of who our data partners are, as well as our commercial marketing partners on how those active listings feed into RPR. So we want to go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and set up, or I'll share with you how to set up your My Market so you can keep an eye on that commercial activity. We're going to take a look at some really nice mapping features to help you identify different data sets for you to search and be able to look for the right business. We're going to go through trade area details, which is provided by our Esri data. So that's our tapestry segmentation. You'll probably get a little bit of snapshot of our ScriptWriter tool. I want to do hopefully an on-market property search for commercial properties, and then I would also like to do a prospecting search for off-market properties, and we'll take a look hopefully at a couple of other features that are available through RPR for commercial practitioners as well. But we're going to start and just talk a little bit about the numbers. And obviously take these with a grain of salt. But if you hear the term off-market or public record, that is just commercial parcel information that doesn't have any current listing association or listing information, I should say, attached to it. We have over 56 million commercial parcels in RPR. And through our on-market commercial data partners, we have over 860,000 properties that are indicated to be for sale or for lease in RPR. So let's take a minute and talk a little bit about our commercial data partners. Now, if it's not on the screen, we do not have a partnership. So when it comes to off-market property information, we get that from our data aggregator, which is ICE. And they update that information on a daily basis, a monthly basis. And then we do get for sale and for lease active information from not only the MLSs and commercial information exchanges that participate, but we also have data partners, which include Crexi, Brevitas, Office Space, by proxy, ICSC, Total Commercial, Moody's, and Land Broker Co-op. So that's where our active information comes from. We have a really unique partnership with a data partner called CompStack. And CompStack is almost like crowdsourcing sold and leased data for commercial properties. So through the CompStack and RPR partnership, you are able to leave RPR and go into the CompStack database and get a market snapshot for any area across the country and see what properties, what commercial properties are selling or are being leased at. You can submit your leased and sold commercial data to CompStack. It does get validated by them, and then it becomes part of their platform. And then that sold information or leased information for those commercial properties are accessible by all CompStack brokers across the US. So it is a really unique platform that is very cool. So I'll show you a little bit of that today as well. Of course, you will see US Census information, you'll see ESRI information. Our points and places of interest are provided by a company called Precisely. We have traffic counts, we have tenant data. You can generate climate risk assessment reports for areas. That's provided by Climate Check and First Street, so you can pick which one you want to use. And then we also have a partnership with a third-party company called Valuate, which allows you to look at a residential or commercial property and perform a investment analysis. And you can actually compare different scenarios to find out which one is right for your investor. And these can be multifamily properties, apartments with different rent rolls, land development analysis. So that is a great tool as well. And you can take advantage of it at no additional cost within RPR. RPR Commercial gives you the power to search for on and off-market properties. We also utilize our ESRI data to give you the ability to perform site selection. So instead of going to an area and searching for properties, you can actually plug in who your ideal clientele is based off of attributes and demographic data to identify what areas have the highest concentration of that consumer. And then you can search for properties within that area. You can identify consumer segmentation through our trade area reports. We have investment analysis. You have mailing labels to prospect for new clients. And there's so much more you can do. Our ESRI data, which I believe is the Environmental Science Research Institute or Environmental Systems Research Institute, that's the acronym. ESRI data provides detailed descriptions of America's neighborhoods, and it's almost done in a tier level where you have large dominant segments based off of socioeconomic and demographic data. And then that filters down to smaller, distinct market types, life mode groups, and urbanization groups. So you can really take a look at the weave that makes up markets all across the country. This consumer segmentation data is one of the data points that fills our ScriptWriter tool in commercial. So it's really cool to be able to take a look at the trade area details to see that segmentation. Now, RPR is available in a mobile app. So if you happen to have your smartphone next to you and you're not using RPR mobile, you can scan that QR code. It'll bring up a link that you can click on, which will open up your Google Play or your App Store. And it's going to allow you to install the RPR mobile app. You will be required to log into that mobile app, but you do have access to on-market and off-market commercial properties, our commercial search, customizable reports. A lot of the content you can share through text message and social media easily. And it's all set up based off of location-based services. So where you are, it's going to open up and give you inventory right around that area. It's a really user-friendly app where you do have access to advanced search filters, property details, trade, points and places of interest, and AI tools. But we're going to go ahead and jump right into RPR commercial. I'm just going to transition my screen over. Now, I am just sharing this with you from my RPR trainers account. So when all of you log in to the RPR platform, the logo that you see on the upper right of my screen, which is the RPR logo, that might actually be the North San Diego County Realtors logo. It may also be your brokerage logo, so it could be different depending on what's set up for your office or your association. You are going to see our main menu bar is along the top here. And then just below that is our quick search property bar. And to the left side of that quick search property bar is where we have our switch between our residential property search and our commercial property search. So depending on what you use, if you are primarily a commercial broker, once you set it to commercial, it will stay commercial from that point on unless you toggle back. If you are both a residential agent and commercial agent, you'll know as soon as you start looking for bedrooms or bathrooms, you will not see that. So that's kind of your trigger that you're going to want to go back to residential if you're looking for single family, condo, co-op. And if you're commercial, your property types are going to be commercial, healthcare, hotel, motel, industrial, multifamily, land, office, restaurant, bar, retail, shopping center, or special purpose. We jump right into price. We have building, square footage. We have lot size, square footage in acres. I'm going to go ahead and expand our search filters by clicking on our filter icon. And you will see we have price, whether it's sale price or lease price. We have number of units if you're looking for multifamily. Our public record provider does supply us with a layer of foreclosure data. So if there's a short sale or if there's a notice of default, it will indicate that the property is in a pre-foreclosure status. If it's a notice of trustee sale, subject to auction, foreclosure proceedings, it's a foreclosure. And then we also have bank owned, and those are all dated as well. One of the nice commercial features that we have are land use codes as well. Now, you actually won't see the land use code because that is different. It can be different county to county. Those codes are different state to state. They could be different city to city. So on our back end, those zoning codes or land use codes are tabled into a selection. So if I'm looking for properties that have storage as a land use code, as soon as I start typing, we have bulk storage, we have cold storage, we have commercial or transportation, we have residential storage space, shipyard, storage yard, junk yards, and then you can select those land use codes that you want to search. And then we do have our keyword search along here at the bottom. And our keyword search, this is really most popular when you're looking for a property subtype. Now, I actually live in Florida. So right now, car washes are really, really popular and they're popping up all over the place. And then, of course, med spas are popular by us as well. So we do have some top 25 uses here for subtypes. Car wash is one of them. But if I was looking for a med spa, I could come in and just type med spa and then add it. And it would look for that terminology within the listing detail. So the top ones are here: investment, medical, business opportunity, warehouse. But if you were looking for something more unique, especially to your market, you can always key in that property subtype or that unique feature. So that's how our property search is going to look. We're going to run a property search in just a minute. And then just below our location bar here at the top, we do have My Markets. And this is one of your homework assignments once you're done with our webinar today. Now, your My Markets will apply to commercial or residential. And I want you to think about where you practice the most. And your My Markets can be a broad area like San Diego, but maybe you do a lot of business in Pacific Beach or University Center. Maybe there's a few zip codes that are really popular, and you seem to have a lot of people want to look within those certain zip codes. You can set those markets up in a dashboard view. So I have La Jolla, I have a zip code in San Diego, I have North Central San Diego set up here. So I guess that would almost be like a district. So you can have as many as you want. And then you do have the ability to see what's going on in that market. It is very much like a hot sheet. So it is a rolling 10-day view. And I can see what inventory within the last 10 days has become available for sale. We have for lease, we have price changes, we have pendings, sold, leased, or distressed. So you can go in and program those markets right onto your RPR homepage so you have access to that information quickly. So I'm just going to go to the add feature right here, and I'm going to add Pacific Beach. And I'm just going to type in Pacific Beach in, oops, let me spell that correctly, in San Diego, California, and it's going to bring it right into the selection below. I'm actually going to add all, I'm going to have a whole big large window for all of San Diego, California. So you can do it at, you can even do the county if you want, but that has a tendency to give you a lot of inventory. You can add as you need to. You can remove as you need to. You just go ahead and save. You're going to get a nice little confirmation. You're going to go back to the home page, and then you're going to see those markets have been added. And you can then click through the inventory to see what's new within the commercial data set. You can click on any of these and you will be able to save it as a favorite, which just puts a little heart onto the property. And then you'll see anytime that property comes within view, it has that little heart, so you know it's saved as a favorite. It also goes into your My Work, and your My Work is just our filing system. So you can access your file folders at the top under our main menu, or below your My Markets map, you'll see you have your properties, saved properties, recent properties that you've looked at, reports that you've generated, and then recent searches that you have saved or recent searches that you executed. Our mobile app does sync with the desktop. So whatever you look at on your phone, you can reproduce from the desktop. So you can go ahead and set your My Markets up. Now, one of the really nice things about My Markets, this really is, I'm going to go into a little bit of a smaller area. Let's take a look at North Central San Diego. There's 3 new properties within the last 10 days. But if I actually wanted to see what was going on with all commercial properties in North Central San Diego, I can just hover over this shaded area. And when I click, I'm going to get a little dialog box that comes up where I have access to different resources. So under those resources, I can create a full-blown property search. I can run a site selection. So if I had a client and they were looking to open up a boutique pet daycare, doggy daycare, and we wanted to see where in North Central the best clientele would be, I can run my site selection to target that. We can view the trade area details, and we can save this as a custom area. So you really do have the ability to access commercial property information very quickly. And I'm going to go in, since we have 3 properties that are available for sale within the last 10 days, I'm just going to go right here to search. And it's really just going to then load the map. And it's going to pull up 252 commercial properties. And right now we are just looking for all commercial properties, regardless of property type. And any property that's active with contract, pended, or for sale or for lease. So as we navigate around, and utilize our search tools. Our search bar or filter bar is right here at the top, and that follows us throughout the system so we can change that criteria at any time. So I have the ability to come in and say, hey, I'm looking for properties that are for sale. I want actively listed properties, so I'm just going to leave those two selected. I have my property type: commercial, healthcare, hotel, motel, industrial, multifamily. I'm going to, let's say we want retail. So I'm going to uncheck that box and I'm going to do retail or special purpose. And then I'm going to right now leave that because I'm sure my price is a lot higher than I think it is. So just based off of that, I'm going to go ahead and run my search. And I have 11 property matches within my criteria. And I think I'm going to come in, ooh, that's a lot of money. So I'm going to, let's pull in healthcare, and then I'm going to do a max price of 850,000. And we're going to redo my search and we get we have two property matches based off of that criteria. Now we can look at this in a map view. We do have the ability to change our views as well. So we have a list view and we have a gallery view. Now there's a couple of ways I can change my residential boundaries. So looking at our map tools quickly, on the upper right hand or upper left hand side of the map, excuse me, we have a show geographies drop down. And this show geographies allows us to layer residential boundaries and then search within those boundaries. So if I wanted to see where the county was, that's way too broad for a county search because it would be all of this. Way too big. Now we have municipalities or townships, right? So I do have the ability to come in and not only can I select one area, but I do have the ability to select multiple areas, and then I can search within those areas for potential property matches. So if my first boundary did not work, I have now revised my boundary and I've gotten 11 properties. So you can use these show geographies. We have cities, we have opportunity zones. Opportunity zones, if I move the map a little bit, you'll see really central to San Diego. We do have a lot of opportunity zones here. And these opportunity zones are part of a Federal Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. It's being renewed again, I believe, this year. And this identifies properties for redevelopment and revitalization. And if the purchaser is purchasing a property that will help with the revitalization of that development, they do get long-term tax incentives. So this could be very beneficial to a property or a business owner if they're looking in any of these areas to purchase for long-term to help revitalize. So we do have those opportunity zones. We have zip codes as well, where you can go through and select multiple zip codes. We have neighborhoods. This is really going to be a lot of residential boundaries. So We have our macro neighborhoods that you can kind of click on and see how it's broken down. We do have intermediate. Sometimes these are master plan communities or historic areas or a little bit smaller. And then our minor or micro would almost be the name on the sign of the subdivision. So you're really getting into residential. And then we have our public attendance school districts and attendance zones broken down by high school attendance zones, middle school attendance zones, and elementary school attendance zones. So that's a great way that you can go in and search particular areas within RPR just based off of geographies. Now, we also, when you're searching, have some map tools over here to the right-hand side. Now, one of the map tools we do have is View. You can do a satellite, we have an aerial, and we have a terrain view. So you can pick any of those. Once you have it set, that's what it's going to be. Mine is normally set to the road view because I live in Florida. It's generally, pretty flat. You don't have that problem in California. You have a beautiful terrain. And I'm sure those levels can affect value. So that may be something that you want to take a look at. Now, of course, when you're searching for properties within our map, we do have some drawing tools that are available. These really are your standard radius, polygon, or box. We also have a freehand. So if I just wanted to kind of come in and draw over an area that we wanted to search, I could come in and search that area for property matches, right? You can also click on it and save it as a custom area or perform, again, a site selection, which is breaking that down into consumer segments to identify the best area for a business. Now we do have in here available as well, and usually if I zoom in a little bit, I'll start to see some points or some places of interest, but we do have under our drawing tools, some driving tools, and this allows us to search by travel time as well as distance. So distance is your general drag, drop, select next, 1, 3, 5, 10, 15 miles out, and you can run a property search that way. If you have someone, maybe they're looking for a little shop and they would like to detail cars while people drop them off in a parking center or at the airport parking lot, and then they're going to shuttle them to the airport. We have a travel time as well, and you can plot both the distance and travel time by just typing in an address, or you can drag and drop the pin to a particular location. And then you can come in and say, hey, if I'm trying to get to this location by car, you would pick the heaviest traffic time of the day, let's say 3 o'clock on a Friday, and I want to be able to get to this location within a 10-minute journey. It's not going to give you a very big area, right, for you to go in, but you can always edit. And if I want to back this up to 15 minutes, I can redo and then search that area based off of that travel time. So you do have some nice other methods to do a property search, and then you do have the ability to search within that window. Now I'm going to go in and let's take a look at this property here. It doesn't give us a lot of um, photos. Let's go take a look at this property. Oops. I'm going to go ahead and give this a moment to load. I'm actually going to go back to the search results and I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And let's go to our list view of properties. Now, when we're looking at the list view of properties, you can sort your properties by type, by price, by square footage. You have the little hearts to save them as a favorite. But what I was looking for to point out is very similar to this property right here. I have the same thing with this property here. These are indicated to be multiple listings. And if I click that link that says multiple listings, it's going to pop up and tell me, hey, we are getting this from 2 different data sources. We have a listing coming in from Crexy, and we have a listing coming in from the California Regional MLS. So you can take a look at it from either data source, or you can flip back and forth between the two. So I can come in, let's take a look at it in the Crexy platform. Again, I have the ability to save it as a favorite. I'm going to have a property menu bar. We're going to take a look at all of these features, but right off the bat, we're going to have a photo. We will have a street view, and this is a Google view, so sometimes you got to pan and drag and move it around. But you do have the ability to do that. If I want to go out to the street, I can kind of shimmy it around that way. We also have a satellite view of the property. And then if the property was listed previously, we have historical photos as well. So this has been listed quite a few times. And I can go in and look at historical property details if I want to, and see what's going on in that area. I do get a little bit of property information here to the bottom. I get the public marketing remarks. I have the public record facts, and then I have the listing record facts. I do have a section here where I can add property notes. I can add property features. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. We have tenant data here. And with tenant data, you do have the ability, if you wanted to print the list, you can print the list off. We have owner facts for the property. We get some financial details that come in for the property. And we have legal description, current listing information, previous listing information that you can thumbnail through. And then we're going to have our public record history, which is deed info, mortgage info, tax info, and if it applies, distressed information as well. So you do get the ability to look at that. I'm going to scroll up on my property details. Here you'll see listing agent details. Since this is coming in from Crexy, we have a link right here that you can click on, which is going to pull up and give you a view of the property detail within the Crexi platform. If you participate with Crexi, of course, you can log in and then get even more detailed information, but we do link to that system. These are where the property info is coming from. So right now I'm looking at the information from Crexi. If I want to look at the information that's coming in from California Regional MLS, I can just click on that MLS ID number and it's going to essentially transition the data and show it to me in a little bit of a different format. So coming in from the MLS system, we actually have 3 property photos, so a little bit more. We get a virtual tour. So there's some subtle changes in what comes in from Crexi. We do get showing information. You will see here we have additional resources. So we have our climate risk through First Street, and then we have comp stack, which is sales and leased data. And then if I scroll up, we have our mapping detail as well. Now, what I really like about our mapping detail, and you can click on it from the main property detail page, or you can go to the property menu bar, and we have map location here. They both take you to the same place. And it's going to pop open and give you some inventory for nearby commercial properties that you can take a look at. You can see some commercial sales data and some commercial listing data as well. But if we go back to the map tools here, we do have points and places of interest. So you can now layer agriculture, arts and recreation, community and government, financing centers, medical centers, restaurants and bars, schools, different services, different shopping, right? So I wanted to come in if I was looking to open a certain type of shop and I want to see if there is, any similar shopping centers, I can post those onto the map and I can see kind of what's nearby. So I like being able to look at the points and places of interest. I'm just going to go into my services and I just selected pet care, right? So now I can see on my map what pet care services are around this property. So there is dog training. I have paw pleasers, which is pet supplies. And I can come in and see what's going on with some of the nearby pet services in the area. So you can see what's going on around here. If you wanted to print this out, you can just go to print page, download it as a PDF, and it's going to show you all of those pet services shops that are nearby. I'm going to clear those points and places of interest, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit because one of the other favorite features that I have, and I absolutely love it for commercial, and this is under the driving icon. We do have traffic counts. Now, if you haven't used traffic counts yet, it normally pops up and you can select the amount of drivers that you want to look for. But I just do a select all and then apply. Now I can come in and look at those cross streets and see what the average daily driver count is for that street. So if I wanted to say If I'm marketing this and they're looking for um, visibility through drive-by traffic, we have one street that has over 16,000 drivers per day. And then we have Sixth, which is over 6,000 drivers per day. So I can go back to my property information and then I can come in and say we had Third Street, average daily driver, and that was 6,000. And then the other cross street was, let me go to my driving and look at traffic counts again. So G Street and Third. Okay. So I'm going to go back. And this was 16,000. And then we had G Street, average daily drivers, and that was 6,000. So we can add that property information into the listing detail. And then, of course, depending on your location, under our data layers, you can look at demographic indicators. So if you wanted to see what the range was for average, or let's take a look at median disposable income, I can apply that data layer and I can see where it is on our scale for disposable income. You can also do some residential indicators. And then we do have a flood zone map as well. So you can take a look at those data layers or map overlays for demographic trends. Now, if I really quickly wanted to just grab this property and email it to a client, I can just come to the upper right-hand side and select Create Report. I'm going to use our single property template, and this is going to be a commercial match. And then you will see the property report will come up. This is a live preview of the report. You are able to upload your own documents into RPR and incorporate those into the reports that you're going to share with clients. So I have a little testimonial page and an About Me page. I also have a pre-listing checklist, which really isn't for commercial. So if I wanted to get rid of this page, I can just hit the delete button at the top, and that's going to go ahead and get rid of it. It's going to give me my commercial property information. I am going to get my property details, tenant info. If I wanted to remove just this tenant data from the report, I can go into the property information section and come in and just say, hey, I want to remove that tenant data from the report. My client's not interested in tenant data. They're not looking to purchase this for investment. They're looking to purchase this for use. So you do have the ability to come in. Maybe you want to get rid of the public record history, right? Or you want to keep the tax info, but get rid of all of the other information. So you can really come in and customize this report how you want. I don't want all of these photos, so I'm going to kind of clear them all out and just use the one photo. So you can customize your report. There's traffic counts if you want to include schools. And then, of course, if you wanted to email this to your client, you can just go to share. You can copy a dynamic link. You can send it to them by email, or you can share to social media as well. And then what's nice, these reports are dynamic. So if there's a price change or any of the property details change, that gets updated on the report that your client's looking at. So you can email and create property reports as well. Now, if I go back to my property, we do have a trade area right here. And this trade area is going to look at the zip code that the property is located in. And we're going to see a lot of this trade area information during our next presentation, because this is where our ScriptWriter tool is. But if we take a look at some of this information, we have our demographic data, which comes from US Census information in Esri Info, median household income, median age, population. We get those demographic facts and stats, right? The households, age breakdown, marriage breakdown, income, education, economy, commute times. That's all demographic data. And then if we scroll down, you're going to see that consumer segmentation. And this is where it's primarily it's primarily 5 consumer segments. We are upscale avenues. These are prosperous married couples. This is the fastest growing groups within the market. And the segments, or that household breakdown, is divided into the 5 most popular. And it's actually almost, for the first 3 segments, pretty close. So you have Pleasantville. These are married couples, maybe 1 kid, 42. So they're in their first home probably. I think 38 is the average age of the first-time home buyer. We can see their median household income, their net worth, their employment, their preferred activities. They like outdoors, they like gardening, they go to the beach, they go to museums, they invest conservatively. They still actually look at newspapers and magazines, so they do a little print. And they like imported SUVs. And you can compare that to diverse convergent. These are in density apartments, not nearly as many in this household group own their homes. They are in professional services. They have high school diplomas. They shop at warehouses. They do like their theme parks, the beach. They like their sports. They don't have the funds to invest yet. They read the internet, and they have 1 or 2 vehicles, you know. And then you can take this and compare it to nearby areas as well. And then, of course, you can package this information up for presentations. You can use our ScriptWriter tool as well. And you can even come in and create commercial trade area reports with this data as well. So that's all just under our property information. Now, of course, if you are going into RPR and there is a certain area that you just right off the bat want to run a trade area detail for, maybe you know where you're going, you don't have to go through a property detail to get that information. You can go right into research, and then you will see we have commercial trade areas, and you can plug a city or a zip code or a district right into the search, and you can pull up a trade area that way as well. So you don't have to go through that property detail to get there. Now, really quickly, I just want to, again, if we are coming in, and I am going to actually just type in, let's say we're looking for North Central, oops, North Central San Diego. And I am specifically looking for that property. And I get two matches, right? Based off of my price and my property types. So I do have the ability, if I can't find the property type that I'm looking for that's currently listed for sale, I can come into my desired area, and instead of looking for properties that are for sale, I can just transition this over to public record, and I can say I'm looking for no more than 1,000 square feet. If I want to look for a land use of pet boarding and grooming, I can go ahead and add that. And I can update my search. Let me go back in and get rid of a couple of price tags here. Let me go in. Let's see. So I'm looking for public record. I have a building square footage, and I'm looking for pet boarding and grooming. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and take out. That may not be a land use code that applies. So I'm just going to look for something I can maybe convert, which healthcare usually works nicely. I'm going to do retail and special purpose. And then I'm going to update my search. I'm going to give it a minute because I get 455 public record parcels that have a maximum of 1,000 square feet that are indicated to be healthcare, retail, or special purpose. If I want to go straight to retail and I take off those other two, I get 228 properties across the area. And I can find ones that are owner occupied or non-owner occupied based off of using this information here. So you can pull public record data. And then from here, oops, I'm going to put that price tag back in there. I don't want anything that's now valued over 850,000. We'll bump it up to 1,000,000 because these are going to have values now. So you can go in and see what's going on with that public record data. If you get a lot of properties that you want to market, again, you do have the ability to narrow those properties down. So if I want to find properties that are within a certain zip code, all I have to do is delete North Central San Diego and type in 92123, and that's going to give me just the properties in that particular zip code. If I wanted to send a letter to all of these property owners, I can go right to mailing labels, and I can go straight to PDF. It can go to the physical property location or the tax billing address, owner occupied or absentee owner. I can exclude listed properties. We exclude properties on the do not mail list. I can hit my print option, and then I can create a mailing and see if I can get any current property owners to sell their unit if I can't find the listing that my client wants. So you do have prospecting as well. And that's going to conclude our RPR commercial webinar for today. Again, this webinar was provided to you on behalf of the North San Diego County Realtors. They are providing a second webinar on August 19th, where we're going to get a little more in depth with our site selection and AI tools in our commercial property class. If you have at any point any questions about RPR, you can go to the help on your RPR navigation bar, reach out to our support desk, visit our training area, or get access through a live chat. With that, that's going to again conclude our presentation, and we'll go ahead and wrap things up. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day.